All right, today we're diving into a story that's about way more than just your morning coffee. It's about a company in the Democratic Republic of Congo that's trying to spark a full-blown economic revolution, one coffee bean at a time.
And it all really comes down to this one central question. The Congo grows some of the world's most incredible coffee, but the farmers who actually grow it, they remain in poverty. How is that even possible? Well, the answer lies in a system that's been broken for a very, very long time.
So before we can get into the solution, we've got to understand the problem. Let's break down exactly how Congo loses out on its own coffee profits.
For decades, the system has been, well, brutally simple. Congo's role has been to grow the raw coffee beans, and the role of foreign companies to make pretty much all of the money from them.
So here's how that old traditional system really works. The process starts, of course, with harvesting the raw beans in Congo. But then, and this is the key part, those beans are immediately exported for a super low price. All the steps that actually add real value, the roasting, the grinding, the fancy packaging, that all happens overseas. And what does that mean? It means all the significant profits are captured thousands of miles away, leaving local communities with next to nothing.
But what if you could just flip that entire model on its head? Well, that is exactly what one company is trying to do, and that brings us to Gorilla Coffee's mission.
Meet Gorilla Coffee. Founded back in 2020, this Congolese company has an idea that is so simple, it's revolutionary. They asked, what if all that high-value work happened right here, in Goma, Congo? By processing the coffee locally, they keep the jobs, they build up the skills, and most importantly, they keep the profit right at home.
And this right here, this is their entire philosophy boiled down to one powerful sentence. It's a massive shift in thinking, right? Stop shipping out a raw commodity and start creating and exporting a finished, valuable product.
And here's what their new way of doing things looks like. First, they partner directly with farmers, no middlemen. Then they process everything, and I mean everything, washing, drying, roasting, packaging, right there in Goma. They sell finished products, and the final, most important step, they reinvest the profits back into the local community, creating this amazing, sustainable, circular economy.
Okay, so it sounds like a fantastic idea, but is it actually working? Let's get real for a minute and look at what's happening on the ground, both the awesome progress they've made and the very real hurdles they're still facing.
And this is really important to understand. This is not just an idea on a piece of paper. Gorilla Coffee is a real functioning company. They have a team on the ground right now processing and selling coffee.
They've also got the numbers to back it up. By producing 20 tons of coffee a year, they're projecting an annual revenue of over $200,000. And listen, that's not just a random number. It proves they have a viable business model that's actually ready to scale.
But they're also super realistic, which is a good thing. This gives us a really honest look at their position. Their strengths are immense. They're at the source of incredible Arabica beans with strong farmer connections. But they also face real weaknesses, like a lack of international brand recognition, pretty basic packaging, and the huge logistical challenges of operating in Eastern Congo. But see, these aren't failures. They're the growth gaps they know they need to fill.
So the big question is, how do you bridge those gaps? How do you go from being a local hero to a global contender? For Gorilla Coffee, the answer is a really smart strategy they call the Boston Test.
So what is the Boston Test? It's a pilot project. And if you're not familiar, a pilot project is a smart, low-risk way to prove a business concept. You take your product to a new market on a small scale to show it can sell before you go asking investors for major funding.
And for a company like Gorilla Coffee, a pilot project is an incredibly powerful strategy. It's not just about selling coffee, it's about gathering cold, hard proof. It tests real customer demand, it builds credibility, and it generates the kind of hard sales data that investors need to see. Most importantly, it helps reduce that perceived risk that can, unfortunately, hold back investment in startups from the region.
And why Boston? Because it's the perfect ecosystem. You've got universities for research and branding, a huge coffee culture to test the product, a strong diaspora community for support, and direct access to the impact investors who want to fund projects just like this.
You see, a successful pilot in Boston wouldn't just be a small win. It could be the catalyst that transforms the entire company. It's the bridge from Goma to global.
And this is the heart of that transformation. The pilot project is designed to change their whole identity, from being seen as a local Congolese coffee company to becoming an investable African specialty coffee brand. And believe me, that shift in perception is everything.
So here's the roadmap to get there. They're already operating in Goma. The immediate next step is launching the Boston pilot. Success there would provide the proof they need to secure major investment for a full-scale factory, with the ultimate vision of becoming a recognized global brand.
And the vision culminates in something truly special, a physical guerrilla coffee cafe in Boston. It would be way more than just a coffee shop. It would be a marketing engine, a sales channel, and a cultural bridge connecting consumers directly to the source and the story in Congo.
Which leaves us with this final, powerful question. Can one cafe in Boston really change the global coffee trade? On its own, maybe not. But as a proof of concept, as a symbol that a new, more equitable model is possible, it just might be the start of a revolution.